Hello guys and welcome to another video. Today I'm doing the Heath race, which is one of the TLI races, which means one very good thing. I can use cameras on the bike. So I've gone full Nations #1 Beast-esque and I've got helmet cam, rear facing cam, so hopefully that can capture some much cooler angles and aspects of the race. So so the circuit is the exact same format as last year. It's a circuit with a little hill and then some exposed sections, and well, you'll see in the race footage. It's a pretty fun circuit, not a huge field. I think there's about 20 riders, so that makes the dynamics a bit more interesting as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a nice hot evening here on the south coast of England, a solid 20 degrees. So last week I took 4 days off the bike at the start of the week, partially because I was getting a little bit ill, and also because I raced every single week since February. So I think it was a good time also just to reset and recover for a bit. So yeah, now I'm feeling really fresh, but the question is, have I actually got the form back up to the same level where I can perform again? So I guess we'll see, because it's my first race since starting riding again. Anyway, I'll see you at the circuit in a minute. So the Narmed Sport Gel of the week. This week I was thinking, what has power? Horses have power. Horsepower. Right, now I know what you're thinking. What the f is that? It's not my finest work, but you didn't come here for the artwork, so it is what it is, alright?
Kept going between horses is Pirate King, but Mugger 2 at a dawdle goes to the front by 3 parts of a length to Blue Rambler. Pirate King, Mugger 2, how impressive is this? Mugger 2 goes on to win in incredible fashion. Blue Rambler for second, Pirate King for
Okay, so we're at the start of the race, and right off the bat, James and Brooke, my old teammates, got a bit of a gap, the two of them, off the gun, and I wasn't really paying attention as much. So yeah, so I just stuck it on the front for a bit just to make sure that the gap didn't expand too much, because I knew that when they've got like 3 or 4 other teammates, it could have just easily ballooned out. So I sort of kept it within a reasonable range for the first couple laps. Tried to get away a few times, but couldn't quite manage it, so I just kept the gap stable.
Wait till you see the. No, 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 no. Look at the top of his head. Back of his neck looked like a sirloin steak burger.
Here, got the GoPros turned on. They wouldn't last the whole thing, so got the action cameras on here, and yeah, got front and back view for that full experience. I thought I'd put in a little bit of a dig up here around the outside. Thought no one would notice. Get aero, but no, they were keen enough to chase it down pretty quickly. Here I thought it's a slight crosswind, so I'll shove it in the gutter. Unfortunately it was a head cross, which is nowhere near as good as a tail cross in terms of trying to stretch things out and put people in the hurt box. Not quite as effective as I would have liked in terms of creating gap if I was riding on the line. Here I saw an opportunity to move up around the outside. Tom, he was aware, he saw me pretty early on, so he could accelerate. And yeah, I just thought, oh, right, I'll try and just stick it at 500 and just go up the climb like that, and hopefully we can get a gap. Had a quick look around here to see what the damage was like. We had one Satonia guy with us, Tom, and the gap wasn't that big, but kept pushing. And then this bit where the gradient just goes up a little bit more, I thought I'd just apply the pressure a little bit more here just to really try and force the gap out. and this was the funny bit, my head wasn't really like calibrated to the crosswind just yet. So Tom came through and took a turn, and I was like, I'm not getting any draft here. But yeah, it was a pretty heavy crosswind coming from the right, so you need to be nice and tucked in here. Here we'd just a couple miles later, we caught James, one of the 2 early breakaway guys, and then a couple minutes later we caught the other one, Brooke. And from that moment on, the 4 of us worked pretty well together, and yeah, we ended up getting a pretty massive gap because obviously the Teutonia guys had a lot of guys in the bunch to slow everything down. So that was pretty much it for the bunch, and the 4 of us got away. So yeah, we worked well for pretty much the rest of the race. I love this corner, I just tried to rail it a bit more, couldn't quite get it just right that time. But sometimes you can get a nice gap coming out through there. Still working together at this point. I think we're just coming up to 1 lap to go the next time across the line. And yeah, just staying pretty smooth. No one really attacking or anything. And at this point, I thought, right, it's the last lap, and I know there's 2 guys from Teutonia, so we need to change that, because otherwise they could put us in a really awkward position. So I thought, here, it's the crosswinds. I'll take the opportunity, and I will absolutely bung it in the gutter. And that's what I did just after Tom peeled off. I was like, sorry, it's not really meant to isolate you. It's meant to isolate one of the Teutonia guys, but yeah, just absolutely whacked it in the gutter. And in the hopes that I could dispatch one of them. At this point, I was like on the line of the grass on the tarmac. I was like trying to get as absolutely close as possible to the line.
And let's just bring it right around the edges here. See there? Let it come right around like this, just like we used here. Just let it travel right down. See, it's a little bright red in there too.
Just to make sure there was no chance he could get to the left of my wheel. So that was kind of funny.
There's no truth in these dreams I chase. Out of sight, I still see your face.
So at this point, we'd lost James, so it was just down to the 3 of us here. And I was keen to keep the pace high to make sure he couldn't get back on, because obviously 2 Teutonias is a bit of an issue. Yeah, so still keeping good speed through here. I won't lie, I was being a bit of a cheeky one here. I was surging through my turns just to try and just make the other guys hurt just a little bit more if I could for later on. So I was just yeah, coming through at 500 watts, which I know is really horrible to be on the receiving end of, but you know, playing those games can sometimes help out a little bit, and I've definitely been the receiving end of that many a time. Here I thought I'd just put a cheeky little dig in the gutter, but it didn't really go anywhere. Wasn't nowhere near hard enough to actually create a gap or anything. So here, I thought I'd do something a little bit cheeky. Coming up to the final turn, it's quite a slow turn as it is, but as I rolled into it, I just slowed it down even more. Just slowed it right down to, I think it's like yeah, less than 15 miles an hour. Came into it really slow, just back everyone up, and then accelerate really hard out of it. Yeah, and I got a gap for a bit, and I thought, oh, this is nice, this could be the gap. And maybe if I pushed on a little bit more and committed to it a bit more, maybe it could have happened, but I didn't think it was going to work out. It looked like they were closing the gap, so I thought, okay, I'll shut this down. There's no point wasting energy if they're on my wheel. And I was being wary to keep an eye out for Tom, because it looked like he might be trying to keep his momentum and roll past. And yeah, eventually that's what he did. But yeah, he saw me cotton onto it. And then here, it basically ended up being like a track sprint from a kilometre out, but I did feel like Doctor Strange a bit, just spinning my head around. So yeah, still trying to keep an eye out for, because I knew one of them would attack, and eventually Tom did again. And I had to do a pretty big sprint there to get on equal footing. And then I just kept an eye out, took it from the front, and yeah, just kept looking over my shoulder. It literally was just like a track sprint, really, a 3-up track sprint, and I just kept an eye out for when either one of them would attack next. And yeah, eventually Tom attacked again. Luckily I was aware of it, and yeah, once I got on his wheel, I just kept the momentum and sprinted for the line. And the bunch kick was won by another of my old teammates, Russ. And the cool thing was, my coach, who was there on the night, he coached all of the top 5 riders, so that just goes to show. Amazing coach. Anyway, that's going to be the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thanks for watching.